Hello, this is Carlos from the Church of Christ channel. We're going to do divorce and remarriage in the Bible. This is part number 1. And we're going to study the history of divorce in ancient Israel, and in particular during the time of Jesus, Yeshua. We get this from Matthew 5:31 and 32, where it says, "It was also said, whoever divorces his wife must give her a written notice of divorce. But I tell you, everyone who divorces his wife, except in a case of sexual immorality, causes her to commit adultery. And whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery." Now, this in verses 31 that's bolded comes from the Torah in Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verses number 1. And it says, "And when a man takes a wife and marries her, and it happens that she finds no favor," keep that highlighted portion in mind, "finds no favor in his eyes because he has found some uncleanness in her, and he writes a certificate of divorce and puts it in her hand and sends her out of the house." Okay, so now in ancient Israel, there were schools of thoughts, okay, during Jesus and Yeshua's time in the first century, okay, that discussed this verse. And they were the schools of Hillel. That was the school of Hillel, okay, and there was also the school of Shammai. All right, that was the school of Hillel, and there was the school of Shammai. And what they did, from what I read, they were rabbinical interpreters of the law, and the schools of thought sat there and discussed Deuteronomy 24. You know, they went through the scroll as they did and discussed it, but the two schools had a clash of what the law meant, and you'll see it kind of here in the Talmud. If you look at the highlight, it says, "In the first century of the present era of the schools of Shammai and Hillel took opposite views of the biblical text Deuteronomy 24 and 1, which allows a man to send away his wife if she finds no favor in her eyes, because he hath found some unseemly thing in her." The phrase unseemly thing is literally a nakedness of a thing, which the school of Shammai explained to mean a man should not divorce his wife unless he discovered her to be unfaithful to him. However, the school of Hillel, on the other hand, understood the phrase to mean anything unseemly. He may divorce her even if she spoiled his cooking. And as you go on down, you see the more lenient option towards commitment of marriage. The Hillelites prevailed, and they adopted the opinion of Hillel as law. And these are notes that talk about how Josephus also pointed this out in antiquities, okay? And I'll go there also so you can see the text. And so when you look at this, you see why Jesus said what he said. So let's go to Josephus' Antiquities. He says, "He that desires to be divorced from his wife for any cause whatsoever, and many such causes happen among men, let him in writing give assurance that he will never use her as his wife anymore." All right. And then it goes on and talks about the bill of divorce. So basically, the school of Hillel won the opinion for the law, but it was corrupt because they basically gave the law to divorce their wife for any cause. And as you see there in Matthew 9 and 19 and 3. So this is why Jesus said this passage, he kind of agrees with the school of Shammai, because he goes back to Genesis 2 and 24. You can see here that this was the original intention of marriage. It's for a man and a woman to stick together, to stick with their wife, and they be united as one flesh. And so Jesus even, or Yeshua even said that Deuteronomy 24 was because Moses allowed them from the hardness of their heart to have this provision. So we'll go over that in part 2 as we kind of continue with this marriage and divorce and remarriage.